So on today's podcast, we're talking about what it means to be a change seeker, individually and as teams and organizations, as we navigate our way forward through times of change. Seeking change and processing our way through it might just be the key. Stay tuned and I'll explain more. Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome back to the Thermostat podcast, wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today. Welcome in. So glad that you are here. We're in season 10, well over 320 or so episodes, whatever it is at this point. So I hope you'll go back, check out old episodes, so many great stuff. You just scroll through and you're going to see a lot of topics that hopefully resonate with you. If also you're going to run into great conversations I've had with thought leaders and other friends of mine and folks from around the globe about amazing topics. So I hope they resonate with you. Or you can Google my name, Jason Barger, and whatever topic you're looking for. And fortunately, whether it's communication, trust, culture, leadership, whatever it is, and you're going to find something that resonates with you. I hope so. My commitment to you is every time I record one of these podcasts, that it breathes some good oxygen into you and helps you step back and think about the temperature that you're trying to set in your life. So if you're new to the podcast, so glad you're here. If you're one of the folks that have been with us from the very beginning, then glad this continues to add value to your life and your work. If you'll do me the quick favor before I dive into today's episode, if you'll rate the podcast 5 stars, obviously subscribe and like and all those things. But if you'll, rate the podcast 5 stars, leave an authentic review in your own words, and then also share the podcast, whether that's, just an email to friends. Hey, check this out. Or text them and let's listen to this link and talk about it. Colleagues, team members, social media, whatever that is authentic for you. Those are ways in which this helps spread and these messages reach even further. And that's the whole point. So thanks to everybody that takes a moment to do that, and excited to have you with us today for today's episode. It's no secret we live in times of great change. Things are changing around us all the time. Technology is changing at a rapid rate. The world is changing around us and feels scary and divided and disconnected at many times. How people view work is changing. There's change that's all around us. And certainly that's always been the case, but it certainly feels faster nowadays. Well, just a few months ago, Harvard released their recent global leadership development study that looked at organizations across industries in this very fast changing world. And the number one recommendation that came out of their study from Harvard was to create what they called a change-seeking organizational culture. Places where people and cultures were seeking change and stimulating progress along the way. And part of this recommendation across organizations was, if you want to not only exist but thrive into the future, you better be creating what they called a change-seeking organizational culture. So on today's podcast, we're talking about what it means to be a change seeker, individually and as teams and organizations, as we navigate our way forward through times of change. Seeking change and processing our way through it might just be the key. Stay tuned and I'll explain more. But before then, let's take a quick break, pause, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com. jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com. jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. So again, the recent Harvard Global Leadership Study named that the number one opportunity for organizations in today's world into the future is to create what they called change-seeking organizational cultures. So what does it mean to be a change seeker? And as I step back and I think about it for my own life, and again, my own definition, my own thoughts, my own reflections on this kind of concept, I'm playing with it for what it means to be a change seeker. And this is what comes to my mind. A change seeker is someone who actively looks for ways to improve things around them. They look to improve first and foremost, looking themselves in the mirror and what does it mean to seek change and improve yourself? What does it look like to look around and seek change and improve the systems around you, the culture, the experience that people are having on your team or around you? So a change seeker is someone who actively looks for ways to improve things, their self, their systems, the culture, the experience, instead of simply accepting the way it's always been. That's what it might mean to be a change seeker. And so as I reflect on this idea of what would a change-seeking mindset really look like, is it starts first with personally asking ourselves, so for myself personally, what can I do differently to help stimulate progress in my life or in my role? None of us are perfect. No person's perfect. No team is perfect. No organization is perfect. And so change seeking begins at the individual level. What can I do differently? And where is it that I might be seeking change in my personal life or in my operations, my habits, the way I show up to my role? And to be able to step back and say, what could I seek? What areas of opportunity do I see for myself to seek and change in a way that will stimulate progress for me and my role, who I'm trying to be? And it starts with that personal seeking. And then I think the mindset also carries on into, from a team perspective, to get curious about the areas where you could try new approaches to stimulate better outcomes. What would it look like to seek change as a team? What are the opportunities, new habits, policies, approaches? How might we shift and change and seek new ways that will help us continue to grow and develop and get stronger as a team? It requires that kind of change-seeking mindset. And then whoever it is that we're serving, not only each other on our team, because I think we're always doing that throughout our organizations, but also whoever it is that we're serving, who our end user is, how do we keep the focus on people and keep seeking the change that builds relationships, that creates connections, and thinks about the culture in this experience where all people involved feel like they're a part of it? Now, during all times in our history, peoples, leaders, teams, and organizations have been trying to lead through change. That's not a new thing. We all want to lead the change that we want for ourselves individually and also collectively for the people that we're on a team or whatever the mission is of the organization that we gather. We're all about creating that future, and that's always been the case. I know that most people don't sit around and study change theory. I'm a strange guy that thinks about this kind of stuff, but most people just don't sit around and study this. They just hurry up and they want to be at the end of the process, or they want to get to the outcome they desire. They just want to change, or they want magically happen, or they just want things to stay exactly as they are, which isn't realistic either. However, much like everything, we know we don't develop as humans like that, and we also don't create a team or a culture or make significant progress all at once. It's a process, and it happens intentionally over time. This is why in my book, Thermostat Cultures, and on so many of the podcasts that I've referenced the 6 A's of leading change, I refer to these 6 A's of the change process. It all follows the same pattern. If you study change theory, there'll be different language and ways that different people in change theory describe it. But I use the 6 A's because I think that language for myself is a little bit easier to remember. But the patterns all stay the same. And I think it's just easier for people to wrap their head around. And the 6 A's are assess, align, aspire, articulate, act, and anchor. And let me quickly break those down. Assess. In change theory, nothing ever changes if we aren't willing to slow down and step back and take time to assess. So whether you're looking to lead change in your own life, your own development, your career, your personal life, whatever that is, or you're looking to change within your team, your organization, your business, the first step in the process, in the change process, is assessing and being honest about where you are on the map. What is going well? What are your obstacles? What are your strengths? What's your baggage? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? We can't lead change if we don't really know where we are and aren't able to identify our current state. So we've got to assess. Then in the change process, we need to align, which means we're always in the process of aligning with our own vision and our own beliefs and all that, but also with other people. We're always aligning throughout the change process. We have to align to even why we even want to change and establish a sense of urgency, align ourselves and teammates around the mission, and make sure we are committed to pursuing that mission together. And then we've got to aspire. The opportunity is to say, well, what are we actually seeking? What do we want to be different? We then have to paint a vision for the future that doesn't exist yet. What do we aspire to be in the future? What kind of change are we actually seeking? What is the change that we want to lead for ourselves individually, collectively, or the culture we're looking to grow? We have an opportunity to identify the change that we actually want. Then we got to be able to articulate it. So if we can't describe the change we want and the future we're aiming to create, then we can't be surprised when it doesn't exist. We have to be able to explain it. This is why language is so important. And I talk about in many speeches and with many organizations and certainly on this podcast that language drives behavior. This is why clear language around mission, vision, values, strategy is critical, because language helps drive the behavior we want. We have to be able to articulate it to ourselves and also to other people, or we can't be surprised when they don't get it, they don't see it. Then we got to, from that articulating, we have to be able to act. We got to put it into action. We have to tie it all to action, individually and collectively, in the world we live in that is so busy rather than effective. You've heard me talk about that busyness rather than effectiveness. This is the spot in the process that individuals and teams often jump to. They're so eager to act that they haven't truly walked the process leading up to this. They're acting without clear vision. When connected to a clear vision, then we're able to put actions into place to begin bringing the vision to life. The actions grow out of the vision and help make it real to us and those around us. And lastly, the last 6A is anchor. And you may remember this, that lastly, we have to anchor the changes and the actions we're committed to. So individually, what are the habits we're going to anchor in our own operations and our own practice in order to lead the change? From an organizational development perspective, this is where teams and organizations anchor the culture they're trying to create by the way they hire, by the way they onboard, develop emerging leaders, do performance evaluations, manager development, ongoing leadership engagement around values and culture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these efforts are anchored in everything we do. This is how change is truly led, not by accident, but by intentionally seeking the change that we want, with intention, with discipline, with commitment to the vision over time. So, as always, let me leave you with some questions to ponder. What change are you seeking in your personal life? What change are you seeking within your team? What change are you seeking within your organization? Are you and your team actively leading the 6A change process? Where in the process are you struggling? Which of those 6As? And what would be helpful to better align your team, your vision, and your follow-up actions? So cheers to everybody along the path, your own journey. I hope today's episode got you thinking in some good ways. I hope it breathes some good oxygen into you, helps you think about that temperature that you're trying to set in your life and your work. If you have any questions, or if we can be helpful to the development of leaders or the culture of your organization, you can reach out to us, jasonvbarger.com, the jasonvbarger.com website, or you can shoot us an email, info@jasonvbarger.com. Lastly, again, I hope you go back, check out old episodes, some of which I referenced on this pod. I hope you'll check them out. I hope you'll subscribe, rate, review, share the episodes that resonate with you so it amplifies these messages. And I really appreciate everybody that takes the time to do that. And again, thanks for being here today. And lastly, I'll remind us to step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.